Really good week for us preparation-wise. Really excited to play. Really excited to go to West Point. Really excited to take it all in. Kids prepared like they've been really hard, very difficult to emulate. They spent a lot of time listening and watching and trying to understand what we're up against. The scheme is one thing. The pace of the scheme is another thing, and hard enough. Wednesday night, we were looking at our practice, and the scout teams couldn't run any of the plays even close to what they look like, and the pace was so slow, and our eyes were so bad of where we had no really, Wednesday night I said we won't slow them down. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it got better and better. We talked all week, started talking here last week of early it'll be hard, because it's hard to emulate and it's hard to understand what it's like until you're there. And I said, you'll get a feel for it pretty quick. And we got to weather the storm. We got to try to get off to a fast start. That's why we took the ball, but we don't move it, put them out. Not a great punt, short field. They go 12 plays, 54 yards, and I don't even feel bad because it wasn't bad, but it was typical Army. It wasn't good enough, and there's a difference between not being bad when they go 12 plays, 54 yards, they convert 2 fourth downs in their first drive. That's why they're so difficult to stop. But we were doing some good things on the first drive. We did some good things on the second drive, but they drove it the length of the field. And we kept talking about it can't be 1 down good, 2 down goods, 3rd down not good, because that's all they need. All they need is one play where you're not exactly where you're supposed to be, and they get enough yards and they get the first down. So they go 14. We got what we talked about. We got to get some chunk plays. Mo gives us a chunk return. We hit Kenny on a wheel, and that's, Army's pressuring and giving you tons of different looks on defense, and they make you play that way on offense, that you're not just going to methodically move the ball. No one has, against them. Everyone that's scored has scored on big plays. So we get the big play to Kenny. Now we're back on defense, and before the half, we get the stop down. They got 1st and goal at the 3, and they don't get in, which is unheard of. As you listen to their coach, we've never been stopped in 4 plays for 3 yards. And Koenig makes one of his many great plays, but our D-line penetrates and kind of blows it up and allows Koenig to roam free. And okay, it's 14-7. We feel pretty good. We got life. We got a stop. We're settling in. Third quarter kind of goes back and forth a little bit. Obviously, our defense has gained some confidence, and they're getting the pace of play. And just like we talked about, we should get better if we don't panic as the game went on, and we certainly did defensively. We got way better as the game went on, as our kids got used to seeing this stuff. And we get the ball and down 21-7 with whatever time left. We go on a 16-play drive and come up empty. Gus scrambles and falls just short of the first down on 4th down. And again, you look around with like 7:30 left and you're down 21-7, and you say, okay, pretty valiant effort, but maybe not. But our kids, we just said, hey, we're going to hang in there and find a way to win this. And we go get a 3 and out, which is very difficult to do against them. We go on another nice drive and score. We try an onside. We don't get it. All is lost, not quite. We get another 3 and out, which is very difficult to do. They're pretty good at salting away games. And then we go on another great drive, and we score in the last seconds. And we were going to go for 2 all week. We had talked about it. Not a team you want to play when they got first down the 25. When they're in 4-down territory, they're hard to stop when they're not in 4-down territory. But when they're in 4-down territory and you're rushing for 313 yards a game, it's, then we get the celebration penalty. So we kick it. Sloman comes through, makes a big kick. We're rolling. We're going overtime. And obviously we kick the field goal, and we get the stop and have a chance to win. Their kid makes it. We're going to second overtime, kind of one of those days, and they score on us. We get not an intentional face mask, but it was going to be 2nd and 12, and we get a face mask and give them a first down, and they punch it in. Their fullback makes a great run, punches it in, and we score on 4th down, and kind of fitting way to end for me. Just we run the 2-point play. It's covered. Gus gets tackled. They fire the cannon off because Gus is going down with the game-ending sack. But somebody forgot to tell Gus that to stop trying, and Gus does what Gus does. He's falling one way, turning. I still don't. You watch it on tape. I don't even know if he knew Kenny was there or not. But somebody throws some crazy pass as he's hitting the ground and gets it right to Kenny. Kenny catches it, and like I said, who else would we rather have the ball than Kenny right there? And he takes off to the goal line. I'm thinking, okay, there's a lot of air here. We got some yards. You got offensive linemen that were in pass protection. They're sprinting out in front of, if you watch the last play from both teams, it's pretty like we got linemen diving in front of Kenny trying to get blocks. You got Army guys coming out of coverage, scrambling, diving at Kenny, trying to make a play, and obviously they hit him and tackle him on the 2, and we lose by a point. So as I told the team, I'm crazy proud of their effort, crazy proud of their compete, their resolve. They stuck with the plan. We knew it was going to be way different. Like we said last week, huge advantage if you play that team. We were talking on the plane ride home. If you're going to play the academies and play the triple, play them every year, because then you can get used to, like, as the game went on, our defense was getting used to it, you know. So we said we're probably not going to get them early. We're going to have to get them late. We're going to have to wear down Army, which sounds stupid because they're the most highly trained people on the planet. So you're not going to be in better shape than those kids. That's impossible. Our kids don't go through basic training and what they do on a daily basis. But our plan was they're going to have advantage early. When we settle in, if we don't panic, we'll keep coming and we're going to get them late. And, you know, 2 more yards, we get them late and do exactly what we thought. So, yeah, it was crazy. It's one of the few losses. I feel awful we lost, but I don't feel awful our kids' effort, our approach, and how we played the whole game. And I don't, like, ever says, like, hey, you deserve to win. And I'm like, I sat on the field and watched it, and Army kids played pretty hard too, and Army kids didn't give up either. And, like, you know, it was fitting to end 2 yards. Someone was going to lose by 2 yards. That's the way the game was going to go.
All right, questions?
Coach, talk about the celebration penalty at the end of regulation, how frustrating it was given the fact that you were going to go for 2 and then got pushed out of range for that.
Yeah, I wasn't really frustrated at all. Obviously, I wish we didn't. I understand the exuberance. I mean, Becker's one of our most intense, excitable players. Do I wish he wouldn't have done it? Yeah. Does he wish he had done it? Yeah. I was going for 2. It's not like we could have missed a 2 and end the game right there. We're going to, you know, if we'd have missed the extra point from a little further, okay, it would have hurt a little more, but Slow goes out, kicks the extra point, we're going to overtime. It's not like it's a no-brainer call what to do anyway. So when I heard there was a penalty or saw there was a penalty, I was like, okay, let's go for 1. Let's go to overtime. We got momentum. We've somehow scrambled back in this. Let's go. Let's keep playing football. And it was an awesome game if you were down there to watch the every down compete level. For the game to keep going, it was pretty fitting that game kept going. So wasn't frustrated. Wish he didn't do it, but we're trying. You know, every day you talk about intensity and compete level, and there's a lot at stake. And our kids grind for 59 minutes and 40 seconds, and somehow we tie it up on 4th down. You know. I get kids sometimes, they get a little excited and do something they wish they wouldn't do. He can't even explain. It's not like he planned to do it, just emotion took over and he spikes the ball and they call a penalty. So a couple weeks ago someone spiked it against us. Western Michigan spiked against us. The flag was called. I was told there was a celebration penalty for spiking the ball. I saw the kids spike it, and then they talked it over and decided it wasn't a spiking penalty. And not because it wasn't celebration, they kind of looked at me like, we don't really want to call this. It's a tight game. It's late. It was, at that time, it was 39 all in Western Michigan, and they didn't really want to have that be a huge deciding factor in a game. Then 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, we have it, and I'm like, 2 weeks ago you decided that you didn't really want to call this, and this week you decided you do want to call it. So that's the way it goes sometimes. So, but the overtime was awesome. I mean, both overtimes were awesome. The way we'd have missed out on some good football. So.
What was your decision-making process like to go for 2 in the second overtime?
Yeah, normally I would never go for 2, but just I had said early in the week, like, our offense guys knew, like, hey, if we tie this thing or late, like, we're going for 2. Their offense. If you're always looking at the numbers and what gives you the best chance to win. Their offense inside the 50, not fun. So it's not, they're already in 4-down territory. The first drive of the game. You know, the key is they get the ball in the 54 yards out, and they immediately go for it on a 4th down. If that same drive would have started on their 20, they'd have punted on the first drive. Anytime the ball gets to about their 45, so now you're starting overtime at the 25 against a 4-down team that's runs the ball. And yeah, did we do a decent job of defending? Yeah, they still had 300-some yards rushing on us, and we were full board. So just putting them in 4-down territory, which overtime is, to me, doesn't give yourself the best chance. And our offense had scored, kicked a field. Well, actually, 16-play drive, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Our offense obviously had gained momentum throughout that 4th quarter. They ran 40 plays in the 4th quarter. It's amazing. We ran 40 offensive plays in 1 quarter, and then they stopped us on the first overtime, but we scored in the second overtime. So I'm like, best chance to win our offense against their defense, and I think their defense is good, but I thought that gave us the best chance. So,
Army had 36 minutes of time in possession. How gassed was your defense afterwards?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's gassed and beat up, and we got broken bones, and we got kids that broke bones in the game and didn't come out because we were out of subs. You know, we were so lean at some positions that guys just played like literally. There's guys in cast today that played the whole game in both overtimes, and they should have been going to get a cast in the third quarter, and they knew there was no backup. So, like, what are you gonna do when you're gonna come out and there's no one really to go in at your position except for, you know, we're gonna put in a freshman that hadn't played it down all year and really wasn't give us a chance. So, no, we're beat up and tired. And then our offense, it's funny because our offense is gassed too, because for 3 quarters our offense got the treatment a lot of offense got. They watched a decent football game from the sidelines, and we had run, I don't know how many plays. Then you run 40 plays in 1 quarter, and in most of them of our 2-minute variety when we're in hurry-up mode. So it just wasn't running 40 plays in a quarter, which is unheard of. But 40 plays hurry up, and then a bunch more plays in overtime. You know, I think at the end of the third quarter, offense be like, at least it was a light day, you know, not too bad. Then they got in the plane, and, you know, they were completely gassed too, because we actually ran more plays than they did at the end of the game, which is hard to believe. At the end of 3 quarters, we'd end up running more plays than Army, but we did. They ran 6 plays in the fourth quarter. We ran 40. I mean, that's insane. And like I said, and then you say it's 2 minute, and our old linemen and quarterbacks and receivers, running back rushing to the line, play after play after play. So no, we were gassed, and we knew. I mean, you play that team, and you know you don't even have to watch the wide copy on defense. You just go to the end zone copy, and that's a game. And it's crazy what goes on in the trenches there, and it's like I said, it's not for the faint of heart, but. Our kids kind of embraced it going in. They didn't really know, and then as the game went on, they embraced it more and more. And it was a dogfight, and they were happy to be part of it. And they showed a lot of toughness along the way.
Who were those guys? Who were those injured players who played the entire game? And how are you looking overall as a team now, injury-wise?
Yeah, we're awful. So it was horrible. Then we had a little stretch. We were getting healthier, and then obviously, you know, DeAndre Montgomery's been playing through multiple injuries, and you know he couldn't go. He didn't practice at all. We knew he wasn't playing. It wasn't, you know, Josh Allen got hurt the week before, missed the whole Kent State game from the first series on, and he was out. And then you lose Darius Thompson. So now you're talking 3 safety nickels, 3 guys at the same position, which we were very thin going in. Then you lose Darius, gets high load early, and he's out. And then, so Brody plays good. Brody's one of the guys that got hurt. You know, I didn't even know he was hurt. He never said anything to anyone. That's Brody. He never told the trainers, no, he just, you know. So you'll see him run around with a cast this week. And, you know, it'll be like, he came out with a cast yesterday. He's like, he was third quarter. I went and made a play and in a pile, and I felt something. I said, well, would you tell him? He's like, Coach, there was no one to go in. Like, what was I going to do? Like, we're out of guys. Like, we're out of safeties, so. But I'm sure he'll play. I don't think it's too bad. I think he's got a break or something, but I don't think it's a major deal. At least in his mind, it's not. So I have to, he's pretty tough, as you saw Saturday. I don't know how many miles that kid ran during the game from the high hole, play after play after play after play. I'm like, we had one of those step things on Brody. Probably ran 10 miles, and full speed 10 miles. So yeah, it's not. And then obviously Junior out and Treywick out, and then Isaac Hampton gets hurt in pregame. I mean, we got 3 nose guards a couple weeks ago. Treywick's done for the year, so now we got Isaac, and then he literally got hurt in pregame, and we think it's significant. We think it might be season ending. We're going to find out. We got MRI today, but just going through pregame drills and took a bad step, and so we're going to find out. So we're thin, but it seems like that's kind of been the story, and it's just like guys like Barati step up, Mike Brown stepping up. Sterling Weatherford played an incredible game. He didn't start, but he came in early for Darius and was all over the field. So Miles Reed played a really good game. So many guys, and we just have younger guys that are taking advantage of the opportunities. And like we always say, you hate when guys go down. You hate it, but you don't hate it for the guys that get a chance. And right now, our guys that are getting a chance are playing some good football and enjoying the opportunity, and I don't think they're happy how they maybe got the opportunity, but they came here to play football, and they're showing that they're good football players, and we keep playing better and better. We keep getting stronger and stronger. Obviously, the injuries are mounting. Hopefully, we'll see. We get a little extra day, so it'll be hard to say. Those 2 extra days or 3 extra days could make a big difference with some of those guys. Obviously, if it's season ending, it's season ending, but some of the guys don't look like it's season ending, so rehab hard and take a couple of days off here and try to get healthier. But everybody's got injuries, and again, it's just been something that's made us a little bit stronger mentally and physically, and that everybody's got to play a little better because we're shorthanded at some spots, and tons of kids. Jalen Walker, kid that you didn't expect a whole lot, even though you thought he was a good young player. We got a lot of he's leads our teams receiving and making huge fourth down catches, and great opportunity for him, and he's stepping up and taking advantage. So we got kids on both sides of the ball that continue to do that, and obviously we're going to need to continue for these last 4 games.
Talk about the MAC ramifications that this upcoming game has, Buffalo being 4-0 in the MAC, you guys being 3-1 in the MAC. What kind of ramifications does this game have?
Yeah, obviously it's a huge game. MAC East, anytime you play a team in the East, we're 3-0 against the East right now. Obviously we got 2 tough opponents left with Buffalo and OU, but so anytime you can pin a loss on the East and get a win, it's huge. Obviously with them having no losses and playing really good football and not looking like they're going to have too many losses, not saying they can't lose, because every time in this league you think somebody looks real good and they're going to go on to do this, they end up not even ending up where you think they're going to be, so, but obviously it's a huge game on the road against a really good team, so it would be huge to get and put you in a good position for the final 3 weeks. But you can't fall in the trap that, hey, if you do or you don't, because you could win it and things can still go right, you can lose it and things can still come back the way you want them. You just got to, this league particularly, like, you have a tough loss and you think, okay, all is lost, and went through it last year when we beat Akron at our place last year pretty soundly. OU was rolling, and Akron obviously lost to us pretty good, and no one thought 3 weeks later Akron was going to be in Detroit, but they kept playing and they kept winning, and OU stumbled, and next thing you know, you would have never predicted after week 9 who would end up representing the East. So this league, you got to keep playing, you got to keep grinding. You can't, okay, it doesn't look good. It doesn't matter if it looks good, or it really does look good, because things change in a hurry in our league.
Obviously, this week is a little bit more of a normal football game, getting back to that and away from the triple option, just kind of the peculiarities Army presents. Are you excited for that, and what kind of challenges does Buffalo present?
Yeah, obviously offensively, they got a 6'7" quarterback with a crazy strong arm that makes big plays with his arm, makes big plays with his feet, kind of in the mold of the Kent and the Akrons of guys that throw it over your head and does it, and then guy that can ad lib, just like Kent and Akron's guys that make plays even when stuff doesn't break down. You look at Buffalo's big play tape, there's a lot of nice, normal big plays, run and pass, but then there's also well defended, and Jackson gets out of the pocket and either takes off and hurts you, or they do a really good job. He has a really strong arm of breaking deep when he gets out of the pocket and throwing it over people's heads. And obviously, they think, a lot of people thought that going into the year they had the best offensive player in the league with Johnson. The Osborne kids having a crazy great year. I thought they had 2 really good tailbacks a year ago, and now they're 3rd and 4th string. So they got a couple young that are, and those kids are still playing, and they're not playing bad. They still rotate, but they got a couple young tailbacks, and they've got as good offensive line. So defensively, don't give up a lot of points, and they get takeaways. I think they got 18 takeaways this year, which is a ton, and they set their offense up. So, again, there's a reason they've got 1 loss. There's a reason they've beat some good people. Other than the Army game, which is the only game they lost against a team, as you said, not me, that doesn't play quite real football, but just that's their only losses against a team that runs a triple option. So it's really the only game they weren't fairly dominant. So they've had a really good year. They were coming on late last year and hitting their stride late last year and playing really good football towards the end of last year, and they had everybody back and kind of moving forward nice. So.